हेलो इग्नू पॉइंट्स, कैसे हैं आप सब। आई होप आप सब अच्छे होंगे। आज का हमारा प्रोजेक्ट है AHE1 फॉर BA BCom एंड BSc स्टूडेंट्स के लिए है। ये प्रोजेक्ट बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है। इसे आपको जब आप डिग्री कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं तो इसके बाद आपको ये लास्ट प्रोजेक्ट दिया जाता है जो आपको ये बनाकर सबमिट करना होता है। इस पे आपको टॉपिक्स दिए जाते हैं और इस चैनल पे ऑलरेडी 2 टॉपिक्स अपलोड हैं। ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है। आपको ये मतलब मस्ट है, आपको डिग्री लेने से पहले आपको ये प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट करना ही होता है। ये हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में अवेलेबल है। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का प्रोजेक्ट। A study about various dimensions of environmental degradations, its impact and awareness among people. नेम, एनरोलमेंट नंबर एंड ये सब आपको लिखना है। फिर टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट्स। Okay. Introduction. The lives of the people inhabiting the Shivalik region of Himachal Pradesh have changed drastically over the last decade, with various industries in the area not only causing environment degradation but also affecting their health. In recent years, there have been cases of local people dying of cancer or developing lung ailments, which was once rare in the hills. Agriculture yields have also gone down. The shocking reality was revealed by a group of students from Delhi University's Kirori Mal College who interviewed villagers in the region as part of a research project. They also found that in many areas, the level of heavy metals present in soil and water was above the prescribed limits. The growing number of industries in Himachal Pradesh Shivalik region has not only caused environment degradation but has also taken a toll on the health of the locals. In the Badi area of Solan district, which has many pharmaceuticals, textiles, paper and printing units, the chromium level were found to be exceedingly high. The soil and water samples of the area contain 70.11 parts per million of chromium as against the World Health Organization's prescribed limits of 50 microgram per liter. In Rampur Jatan of Sirmaur district, the quantity of chromium was found to be 4 times more than the prescribed levels. The area has operational paper mills and the chromium level was found to be 217.14 ppm. Worrying. In Rampur Jatan in Sirmaur district, the quantity of chromium was found to be 4 times more than the prescribed levels. A survey carried out by Delhi University's Kirori Mal College in Himachal village has revealed a spurt in the number of cases of skin burns and lung ailments in the few past years. In Parvanu, too, chromium levels were found to be as high as 108.5 ppm, whereas in Punta Sahib region the lead levels were 152.9 ppm. These metals enter into the food chain and interfere with the synthesis and metabolism of hormones. Lead poisoning is known for causing gastrointestinal, neuromuscular and central nervous system disorders. It also causes liver and kidney damage, reduce hemoglobin formation and infertility and birth defects. The goal of the project was to determine the extent of environmental degradation caused by the industrialization in the Shivalik region, and the result was shocking. The reason, which is fragile ecologically and environmentally, has been rapid industrialization, said Dr. Mamta Sharma, an associate professor for chemistry at KMC. The area attracts many industrialists from Punjab and Haryana due to dust-free environment, Sharma added. The research by KMC students and teachers has been undertaken as part of DU's innovative research project. The students spent almost a year on the project and traveled to the areas collecting water and soil samples. The research was divided into three zones: Nahan to Kalaam in Sirmaur district, Pinjore to Bharatgarh in Salon, and Santokhgarh to Gargit. The methodology includes samples collection, air, water, and soil. Students also conducted surveys, laboratories, analysis, and interviews, said Sharma. Public workshops were organized to provide a direct interaction between villagers, representatives from industries, officials from Himachal Pollution Control Board, and students, she said. For the health survey, the students found that till the year 2000, villagers hardly complained of skin disorders. Now, 60% of the respondents complain of burning skin and discoloration. Earlier, the locals reported stray cases of lung disease, but in the last few years, 30 to 35% people have suffered from lung ailments like asthma, ulcer in nasal passage, cough, or shortness of breath. Environment degradation meaning and definition. The term degradation has been defined in various ways by different scholars. Of Sir A.J. William defines the expression environmental degradation in the following words: that the harm caused by the discharge of waste into the natural environment. According to Oxford Dictionary, a change in the substance of structures of plant resulting in the formation of products which have no further use in the building up of new cell walls or protoplasmic structure. Indeed, degradation is a Latin word. It means reduction to a lower rank. The meaning of the environmental degradation is nothing but contamination of environment with impurities, making it unfit for its internal use. Thus, anything, if solid substance or liquid or in any other form that may adversely affect the quality of environment, is known as pollutant. The pollutants are usually generated by the addition of waste products of human activities in the environment. When the waste products are not decomposed or otherwise removed by the natural, biological, or physical process of the biosphere, adverse effects may result as the pollutant which accumulate or get converted into more toxic substance. Environmental degradation is a term that carries different meaning with different perspectives. As men degrade their surroundings, individual degrades the air with gases and smoke, water and poisonous substances, and damage the soil with fertilizer and pesticides. In wider sense, environmental degradation implies the lowering of environmental degradation, that implies the lowering of environmental quality at local scale caused exclusively by human activities, whereas environmental degradation means lowering the environmental quality at local, regional, and also at global level by natural process and human activities. Indeed, it is an essential phenomenon to understand their meaning and definition in context with the environmental degradation. When one can be very clear about the significance of environment in the life of human being, let us state here the review of Barbara Ward in his book Only One Earth 1972. He states, "We have forgotten how to be good guests, how to walk lightly on the earth as its other creatures do, or all the stories of human growth, evolution, and adventure on earth. None seems more dramatic and mighty than man's struggle with land, climate, mountains, rivers, and resources, together with the resulting of social arrangement that he made for himself. Though India having a rich historical culture toward environment, yet the environment quality at present has shaken the basic of life on this part of the earth. The studies was earlier civilization revealed that several civilizations declined because of their disability to cope with environment and to solve environmental problems created by human short-sightedness. In Anil Kumar's word, whenever society becomes an incompetent steward of the environment, civilization freezes. The constantly increasing consciousness regarding existence of life on this planet does force the individual throughout of the world to think for the preservation of environment. Otherwise, the life on this earth will be talk of history. It is hence an indispensably requirement of the time to deal with the problem of degradation. Statement of the research problem. Man's attempt for obtaining a livelihood has always been affected by environmental opportunities and the stage of civilization because they impose limitations upon his choice of economic activities. At the early stage of civilization, human needs and requirements were very simple and limited, resulting in a limited scope of occupation. But with the advancement of economic development and growth of urbanization, his increasing needs multiplied the occupation by complex combination of various environmental factors. However, man's victory over nature in 19th and 20th century through advance in science and technology is manifested in terms of too much industrialization, urbanization and indiscriminate application of science devices and technology skills, which in turn resulted in environmental degradation. Environmental degradation now constitutes one of the biggest hazards. It is the biggest hazard now only to human existence, but also the existence of all living things. In India, the problem is getting increased because of the development process, population explosion, heavy industrialization, and every increased urbanization. Apart from multifold increase in automobiles have resulted in the problem assuming strategic proportions. The present day development pattern is based on wanton destruction of nature, the exploding population, mass destruction of forests, and squandering of natural resources, desertification, reckless use of groundwater resources, soil erosion, increase in intensive farming leading to drought, waste, dust, smoke, suicidal pollution, or river and ocean all have aggravated the situation of environmental degradation. To this may be added the view of Eklavya, who is of the view man by virtue of his ever unsatisfied desire for more and more has made a hell out of this heavenly earth. Increasing ecological imbalance, environment degradation, fast vanishing flora and fauna, unhampered population explosion, and deteriorating human health all are a result of mindless activities of the modern Homo sapiens. Ecological balance is associated with population growth because population growth requiring facilities which host parasite vector interaction. Population growth is an important aspect which determines the production, distribution, and utilization of the natural resources of an area. It is one of the key factors responsible for the environment degradation and decline. There is a close relationship between human beings and environment. The constant growth in human number is directly concerned with more consumption of natural resources, which are part and parcel of vegetation and environment. In this context, it shall not be out of place to take note of the fact that the population of the world took 400 years from 1500 AD to 1900 AD to double, and then it took only 50 years to double the population again. Presently, the world is being inhabited by 5.7 billion people, with 90 million being added every year. This exponential type of population increase necessarily means more houses, more food grains, clothing, and increased production of vehicles, increase consumption of fossil fuels, more drinking water, healthcare, and other basic amenities of life. Eklavya, the overall impact of population growth is evident from poverty, disease, malnutrition, hunger, and supply of potable drinking water. water pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, deforestation, greenhouse effect, global warming, and depletion of mineral and other natural resources. Having regard to the terrible consequence of population growth, Sir Lindale described population growth as the worst form of population. According to him, all major environmental problems that threaten the futures of mankind are caused basically by one factor: too many people. It is men's sheer number which is the root cause of all degradation problems. In this way, India's ongoing population explosion has placed great strain on the environment of the country. India, the second most populous nation of the world, has been its population explosion from 300 million in 1947 AD to 1 billion plus today. This rapidly growing population, along with increased economic development and impressive gross domestic production growth, has put enormous pressure on natural resources based and significantly increased the level of population in almost all parts of the country. The density of the population in India has climbed up from 261 persons per square kilometer in 1981 to 267 persons per square kilometer in 1991. This is 10 times more than the density in the United States, 26 persons per square kilometer, and 2.5 times greater than the density in China, 109 persons per square kilometer. According to the Census of India 2001, the population of India is, with a growth rate of 21.34% in the decade and the 2.13% per year. Rapid increase in urbanization is one of the causes of environmental degradation and decline. The urban crisis started with the flow and rural migrants to urban class in zones of intensive industrialization that leads to the development of service sector where conditions of work were far from being satisfactory. The unauthorized colonies grew up on account of cheap land sold by villagers to the urban people. Particularly for housing and industries, the urban villagers invited extensive industries and commercial setups. The squatters spread over open spaces, creating thereby serve mess. The pollution of air, noise, and water has reached at peak. There is shortage of infrastructures of electricity and drinking water. The pollution due to waste is intolerable. The residents with low heights are preferred by people. The urban waste disposals have dumped in open place folds the surface, groundwater, land, and air. The use of polythene and in the industrial wastage of toxic hazardous, which is sent by them to the environmental untreated. These unhygienic practices in urban areas spread diseases. In addition, urban slums also spread several elements such as communicable disease, malnutrition, mental and physical retardation, and behavioral problem. Mr. Butch, 1992, blames the environmental cause on poverty, pollution, population linkages. They maintain that the teeming millions in India are responsible for environmental degradation and decline. The poor masses illegally regarded the environment by their uncivil and unscientific ways of using environmental resources to meet their requirements for food, fuel. Even more importantly, they do so by multiplying their numbers and bringing the already scarce environmental resources under further strain. Urban sanitation is another problem. Very few towns have sewage treatment plants. Most of these plants are badly maintained and are often out of operation. Even it can be said that at present less than half the urban population have a sanitary excreta disposal system. It could be noted that in earlier times people used to go to remote field of defecation. As more area is brought under cultivation and with ever growing population who are occupying the available areas where are fallow the past many years by constructing their house. It is difficult to find such field and people are compelled to use the public roads and pathways. Some people are engaged in small scale occupation at their homes or near to their homes, such as dairy farming, poultry, leather work, dyeing the cloth or wood, etc. The wastage from all these they dumped at open and unplanned places. That dumping of wastage affect the environment adversely. The disposal of solid waste is another aspect of preserving the environment. The refuse from houses, street sweeping, commercial and industrial operations are all called solid waste. Some individuals are not using dustbin, so the waste is dispersed all along the street and some is thrown out in front and around the houses. The piles of refuses act as a nuisance to the community. Hence, they should be disposed in the form of burial, burning, compost making and manure pits. Deforestation is a common factor in any activity of developmental which cause an imbalance in man and animal ratio. The forests are indeed the main components of the biotic components of the natural environmental system. The stability of the environment and natural environmental system. The stability of the environment and ecological balance largely depend on the status of the forest of the region concerned. Forests are a vital components to sustain the life support system on the earth. It is matter of grave concern that the forest areas at global, regional and local levels have markedly decreased, due to which various environmental problems such as solid erosion, drought and increase in the sediment load of rivers, reservoirs and river beds, increase in the frequency and dimension of floods, changes in the pattern of precipitation, intensification and of greenhouse effect and increase in the destructive force of the atmospheric storms are being faced. However, the challenges emanating from population pressures, adverse impacts of industrialization and intensifying threat from illegal trade are being faced by India. The major cause of deforestation at global and regional level are conversion of forest land into pastures, overgrazing, forest fires, lumbering, population growth requiring more roads and houses. Poverty, no doubt, contributes equally to both growth in population and environmental degradation. Because of poverty, the people exploit the natural resources for meeting their basic needs. Poverty reduces people's capacity to use resources in a sustainable manner, which lays more pressure on environmental as well as vegetation. Our culture also degrades the environmental, like in our festival season concerned with an increase in air, water and sound pollution levels in our towns and cities. Ganesh Chaturthi heralds the pollution season. Deepavali brings certain curtain down when people celebrate the victory of good over evil by bursting crackers well past midnight. Another cultural factor of environmental degradation in the case of immersion of idol in the river across the country. Ganesh Chaturthi, Navratras and several other festivals sees the immersion of the idols mostly in rivers. The immersion over a long period makes the river water acidic. Over the years, loudspeaker and firecrackers have become a part of our life. Whether it is a marriage reception or Bhagwati Jagran or Guru Purbs, loudspeaker have become a must. It for nothing, at least to keep the neighborhood informed of the event. The Barat arrival at the marriage pandal is marked by bursting of crackers and the music band striking a high-pitched note. Rock music and the use of powered machines or DJ system is increasing in leisure activities. All this contributes significantly to loud noises. Some type of indoor concerts and discotheques can produce extremely high sound pressure levels. In cities, most of the noises come from vehicular horns, Our drivers take pleasure in honking horns at the loudest describable decibel levels. It is said the way a person uses the horn of the vehicle indicates the person's mood swing. It is natural to wonder how our policemen on traffic duty cope with the sound not only from horns but also music blazing out of vehicles. Noise pollution can cause both physiological and psychological problems. A survey by the All India Institute of Medical Science displays that the average noise levels in the metro cities is more than twice the internationally acceptable limit. The product of science and technology like computers, mobiles, electronic goods, hospital waste, etc., no doubt have brought us comfort. However, whether they have made us happier or not in a question, especially when environmental degradation is taken into consideration. The material possession to reflect his strata of civilization, but the modern lifestyle is unsustainable and damaging environment because of the greater use of natural sources and energies to satisfy his demands. Man is the real culprit for all the evils of today's environmental problems. It is because of his progress and greed he has damaged the fragile environment to an irreparable extent. Environmental issues have become more and more complex as a result of human being unmindful exploitation of non-renewable nature resources. Population explosion, wrong development strategies, and pollution is considered as serious problems. Due to this selfish motive of human being, nature has also reacted beyond this imagination at his supreme knowledge. Losses of food production, spices, extinction, global warming, changing sea currents, and ozone layer depletion are a few incidents of nature's anger towards the human attitudes. Therefore, it is concluded that the harmony of ecosystems and how man's action can lead to an imbalance in this system. Therefore, the need of the hour is everyone's contribution, quality at the regional as well as national and above all at the global level. Significance of this study. There is a dearth of scientific study with regard to environmental degradation in India and especially in Himachal Pradesh. However, the problem of environmental degradation is gradually becoming a social problem in India society due to the widespread changes like industrialization, urbanization, migration, changing lifestyle, and emerging new occupation like leather and cloth dyeing, hospital, dairies, poultry farms, particularly in cities, due to which many kind of problems emerging regarding environmental degradation. Hence, in the present study, social and cultural factors will be analyzed how they are affecting the environmental adversely. The study of environmental degradation has great importance in developing countries like India. This study will attract the attention of the ecologists toward the environmental degradation. It will be useful to provide a guideline to the social planner to find out the remedies that how social and cultural factors are influencing the environmental degradation. The study will promote an understanding of the harmony of ecosystem and how man's action can lead to an imbalance in the system. The study will be great significance to create awareness among the people. Chapter 1 finished. The chapter 2 is objective of the study. हमारा क्या objective था study का? Following objectives are formulated for the purpose study to identify some of the major issues and factors which are considered as the major cause of the problem of environmental degradation in Himachal Pradesh, to examine the impact of socio-cultural factors on environmental degradation in Himachal Pradesh, to evaluate the extent of awareness about environmental degradation among people in Himachal Pradesh. Methodology of the study, क्या methodology थी, क्या research किया उन्होंने, उसके बारे में सब. Chapter 4 is environmental degradation in Himachal Pradesh case study. case study, Dal Lake, a natural wetland. Dal Lake is a small mid-latitude lake situated in Upper Dharmshala at a height of 1800 meter from mean sea level. The lake is like an egg shape and is surrounded by beautiful deodar trees in the backdrop, which further enhances its beauty and provides tranquility to the visitors. The lake has got a religious significance and is considered as a sacred spot. It has a small temple on its bank. The bank of the lake is enlivened during September by a fair attended by a large number of people throughout the year. This lake attracts tourists from all over the world. Wetlands constitute integral components of landscapes, possesses very high biological productivity, have tremendous resources, potential, and environment function. Wetlands, which generally consist of water, soil, vegetation, and microorganism systems, are important for maintaining aquatic ecosystem biodiversity and are being looked upon as sources of food and as wildlife habitats sustaining plants, animals, and even humans. The global researches of wetlands mainly focus on ecological biodiversity and conservation, water quality improvement, circulation of material, biogeochemical cycle, and environmental restoration. In this developing world where there is a high population growth, poverty, and scarcity of land, wetlands are still seen as potential agricultural lands which threaten their existence. It is too late to restore many areas that have already been drained and reclaimed for agriculture or for urban expansion, despite their vital functions such as flood control, wildlife habitat and conservation, water supply, climatic stability, natural sewage treatment, and recharging aquifers. These unique important components of the landscape are under constant threats. Serious threats faced by wetlands include urbanization, agriculture and hydrologic activities, deforestation, siltation, nutrient enrichment, weed infestation, salinization, and aquaculture. These threats necessitate regular monitoring, restoration, conservation, and proper management so that the biological diversity unique to these ecosystems can be protected and safe for future generation to come. Environmental issues, mitigation, म्यूनिसिपल वेस्ट डंपिंग साइट, फिर उसके जो भी इन्वायरमेंटल इश्यूज हुए. द डिटेल्स ऑफ म्यूनिसिपल वेस्ट जनरेशन इन धर्मशाला टाउन सोर्स. म्यूनिसिपल कमेटी धर्मशाला हिमाचल प्रदेश. उन्हें पूरा मैप बना रखा है वो. मिटिगेशन जो भी उन्होंने सर्वेज किए थे उसके बारे में इन्होंने डिटेल्स दी है. स्लेट माइनिंग, उसके एनवायरमेंटल इश्यूज, मिटिगेशंस. कंक्लूजन क्या निकला उनका फिर. इम्पैक्ट ऑफ सोशो कल्चर फैक्टर्स ऑन एनवायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन. India has a long tradition of preserving and worshipping the various objects of nature like trees, animals, rivers, birds, air, mountains, planets, etc. The relationship between man and environment has been recognized in Indian culture from the ancient times. Worshipping nature in the form of deity and recognizing and accepting the earth as mother reveals a kind of conservation on ethics. Even in Guru Granth Sahib it is mentioned that Pavan Guru Pani Pita Mata Dharat Mahat, which denotes air as teacher, water as father, and earth as mother. This comes to us through the history, culture, and religion. Life on this planet is preconditions and dependent upon the existence and sustenance of the natural environment. Environmental sustainability is achievable mainly by protecting the environment. Healthy and clean environment is the natural requisites of life right from the time when a child comes to the womb. Environment is a natural condition which exists around human being and support life. Modern civilization and cultural have been already exercising its tremendous potential to alter our environment, to frequently in adverse ways on regional as well as even on global scales. For it, the continued development and even survival of civilization, man must make every possible effort to understand and the worth of better use his environment. The physical environment and its interrelationship with life on Earth has and perhaps on other planets is of course far too complex to yield to man's complete control through technology. Despite the marvelous accomplishment and promises of the recent scientific revolution and of those to come, human being cannot deny or more than superficially escape from his biological lineage and its unbearable ties to the physical world. Nature has gifted man with several blessings, and clean environment is one of them. Since the dawn of civilization, man has been interfering with the nature, hence our environment is under constant threats. The primitive man gradually discovered fire, invented tools, and used them to fulfill his everlasting favor of development, which resulted in bringing about drastic change in the environment. The early man was nomadic, and after exhausting the available resources, he shifted in groups to other places in group limited due to population impact on the surrounding was less harmful. The advent agriculture and equally rapid development of industrial sector led to the growth of population, which increased demand for food and basic amenities. Particularly the 19th and the 20th century have witnessed number of vital changes and growth in the process of development. It ultimately affected the quality of environment adversely processed in the name of development. Forests and denuded lakes and rivers have become loaded with poisonous influent and hazardous chemical, and air is regarded with noxious and poisonous gases. It has been proved beyond any doubt that pollution, especially by sulfur dioxide and suspended matter particulates, is responsible for numerous respiratory diseases such as bronchitis, constrictive ventilators disease, and asthma. Likewise, the number of patients suffering from lung cancer has risen due to the discharge of hydrocarbons from coal combustion, petrochemicals, and automobile exhaust. Chemical in petrol such as lead, barium, manganese discharged by motor vehicles adversely affect the health of people. Further, a huge amount of consumption of fuel like wood, gas, coal, and oil increase the amount of carbon dioxide injection in the air. The nature cannot assimilate all through its regenerative cycle. The excess of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere result into rising the temperature of the earth. It is worth mentioning here the most of the pollutants are discharged beyond the assimilative capacity of the nature. Environment quality has deteriorated due to uncontrolled mechanization, overuse of natural resources, deforestation, excessive use of pesticides and fertilizer in farms. Through greener evolution has unshared era of food self-sufficiency, but has resulted in excessive use of harmful pesticides, insecticides, and other chemicals on crops too. The danger of contamination looms large on human life and food chain. This generally rises from the extensive use of chemicals of various kinds of for the agriculture crops and plants production. It is being realized by the humanity at this juncture that the life of this earth stands at the crossroads in choosing the alternative out of environment and development. Moreover, the problem of environmental degradation has assumed alarming proportions. It has engulfed the entire human race. Not even a single nation remained unaffected in the quest for rapid industrial development over the centuries. The environmental development over the same period, the environmental quality has been given subordinate to development goals. The modern age of technology has brought with it tremendous but immediate benefits and equally serious long-term recovery cost at return. Life of dignity and well being for everyone is the chief goal that has been set for the international community and the national government to achieve. As far as the role of India in this global movement of environment protection is concerned, the problem of environmental degradation is not as acute as in fully industrialized developed countries. The development process in India is indeed on a rapid march, but it too is providing adverse effect too. The major factors that are responsible for environmental degradation are as follows: migration from rural to urban, urbanization, poverty, population, religious rituals, modern lifestyles, festivals, and fairs. अवेयरनेस अबाउट इन्वायरमेंटल डिग्रेडेशन इन हिमाचल प्रदेश, अवेयरनेस के बारे में बताया गया है. Awareness regarding specific environment pollutants, kind of pollutants, solid waste, liquid waste, gaseous waste, agrochemical waste, unhygienic habits, noise pollution pollutants, dust pollutant, insecticide and pesticide as pollutants, perfumes as pollutant, hospital wastage as a pollutant. Conclusion and suggestion. Bibliography. Then okay, यह हमारा असाइनमेंट ख़त्म